This Titan Barricade burns enemies, grants all ability energy, heals you, protects you, gives you a weapon damage buff, and overall this build is just going to burn everything. You'll be chaining solar abilities using your abilities and Barricade, alongside solar weapons to make this build effective in all types of content. Not only that, but we'll be pairing a solar ability build with an effective rocket launcher DPS setup, which will completely melt all champions in the game in seconds. This is perfect for solo, legend and master lost sectors. Just adjust the rocket launcher's element to the activity's burn modifier and you'll be golden. Now as always, please consider leaving a rating, sub and share to your buddies, as making these sort of videos consumes all my free time. And now let's start. So if you guys are new around here and you do like what you see, feel free to view the playlist linked below for more top awesome builds in Destiny 2 as I make them weekly, as well as updating old builds to the current season. But looking at this build in particular, this is a solar explosive build that will allow you to burn and explode enemies all over the place, which is pretty fun because I mean, what's more fun than exploding enemies, right? Anyway, you'll melt champions fairly quickly with the most simple rocket launcher setup you can have this season, and you'll be able to use your Barricade as much as you want. Now there are many different combinations with this build, so as we go through that setup you can make those adjustments to suit your playstyle and activity. But as always, I will give you the base original setup, then you guys can modify it from there if you wish to. You can also use many different exotics with this build too, but for this one we're focusing around improving our Barricade. So starting in the loadout, as always, your most effective weapon will be a solar energy one with a Firefly or Dragonfly perk. The Vision of Confluence scout rifle is a good choice, which you get from the Vortiglass raid. Now 180 scouts aren't perfect, but they are going to be getting a buff if not already by the time this is uploaded. So consider getting one or two or just one. Yeah, but anyway, get a rocket launcher to use as boss DPS as well, which I strongly recommend as we will be basing this build on rocket launchers too, but you really can use whatever you prefer, just make those adjustments if you need to. Moving towards the subclass, we are a Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, also known as Code of the Siegebreaker, which comes with a Mortal Blast melee ability that sets enemies on fire, and all solar ability kills restore health and abilities, as well as leaving a sunspot in their wake, and passing through those sunspots will increase the recharge rate of your abilities and give you increased weapon damage. Pretty good, because not just that, but your solar abilities will restore health, which means your Titan Blast Barricade will also be counted towards an ability kill, and therefore granting you health and restoring your grenades. But the exotic we're using is the Carapace Horn, where solar kills recharge a solar blast barricade, and as I just mentioned, that blast will give us ability energy, and using your abilities will give us barricade energy. Not just that, but also your energy weapons, which is why I recommended you use a solar or multiple solar weapons with this build. The mods we're using though are Argent Ordnance 3 times, as this will insta-kill champions the majority of the time, or it will do some serious damage to the point the champion has little health left, so slot on 2 rocket launcher finder mods with this, so you never run out of heavy ammo. But for your Gauntlets we have the second Argent Ordnance mod, and your champion mods, which you will have enough to slot on all and any mods you may need. For the chest we have the third Argent Ordnance mod, and our rocket reserves twice, giving us I believe up to 9 rockets. Then for the legs we have Taken Charge to become Charger Light when picking up orbs, which is more than enough to become Charger Light, because you should be doing this with your Masterworked energy weapon. Now if you want, you could even go with Elemental Ordnance and Elemental Charge, as you will be throwing a fair amount of grenades. However, personal preference, I prefer picking up the easy generated orbs. But with this, slot on your Rocket Scavenger mod, and then lastly for the class, I went with Shield Break Charge for the extra Charge Light source, along with Energy Accelerant for increased explosive damage, because we are an explosive build, which means we'll also be using Sundering Blast to cause explosions when stunning those champions. Just be careful if using this on overloads, because sometimes it unstuns them, and they will mess you up big time. However, lastly for your stats, max out resilience for that fast barricade, although it's not really needed if you are using solar weapons, and a bonus if you have a solar weapon that generates ability energy. I will also quickly mention that you can use the chest of Alpha Exotic, but because solar ability kills heal us, there is really no point unless you don't use the Bottom Tree solar subclass. But this exotic is your alternative if you don't have the helmet one, and the chest is more effective for team based activities. Now this build isn't a bad one to play with, it's fantastic in all types of activities, and it's something fun and different to use if you want to use that exotic helmet and the solar subclass for any reason. Of course it's not going to be the best build in the game, but it's a fairly good top tier build for the solar subclass, These builds are made based on specific exotic armor, subclass, or abilities, and I thought this one was a pretty fun one to use, and I would take this into a Master Nightfall if I was playing one. Maybe not a GM though, because the grenades just wouldn't do enough damage to enemies to keep a consistent fast regeneration of abilities. Anyway, that is all for this new season of the Splicer Titan build in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Next, you guys should go check out the playlist link below for more awesome top builds to use this season, but for now, as always, give this one a try. Comment your favourite and best Titan solo build in Destiny 2, leave a rating, subscribe and share for more, and I'll see you all soon for the next one.